Hey everyone, this is Louis7 and I am streaming the Lord of the Rings online, and we are jumping straight into Update 30, which just came out earlier today. So basically the tentative plan for today is to get started with the questing on Louis-den, my level 130 character who has been going through all the content, of course. So it's been a while since I've played him. And then after that, I was thinking about going and doing missions on my alts, but focusing on the classes that have been updated, because Update 30 brought a lot of class changes. I don't know if I will be getting to the raid today. That is one thing I am unsure on, but I think it is not too likely, especially considering the time I am playing, which is relatively early compared to when I usually do. But yeah, that is the plan today. I have to talk to somebody in here. I honestly don't even know who. Hello, yes, from all the way from Norway. And hello, Corey the Fox as well. You were happy you could catch a stream, and I'm happy you were able to catch us as well. So it looks like to start the new questline, we're going to start with the Blood of Azog questline, which I believe will take me to Azanulbizar. And yeah, we got this letter from Glowin. I also do want to point out the audio got messed up with my microphone, so if it sounds weird, too quiet, too loud, or anything like that, please do let me know. But yes, that did all get messed up, unfortunately, but it looks like we can go ahead and detach this, and that will take me where I need to go. If I actually detach it, there we go. I have to actually accept it. Maybe a little bit of lag. I heard the new region is very laggy, not just like frame rate lag, which was an issue for me in the beta. I have no idea what destroying those just did, so hopefully that wasn't too bad. But I know I had some frame rate issues in the new zone, at least in the first round of beta. In the second round of beta, it honestly wasn't all that bad. So it looks like we talked to Glowin, and he will, set me on my way with the new stuff. It looks like I have a lot of quest turn-ins from when I was doing stuff in Elder Slate. I'll go ahead and get rid of those so we don't have to be bothered by that, because we are jumping straight into the new content. Hello, Miss Dweeper. Looks like we can do the Blood of Azog, a lesson hard learned. We already get a trait point, the frame, and 2000 virtue XP. So it looks like it wants you to complete the Legacy of Durin and the Trials of Dwarf chapter 1 through 4. Did we really do 4 chapters of that? For some reason I thought it was only 3 chapters, but that is possible. Let's see, I have to actually search completed, because oddly enough I'm actually enjoying these stuff so much that I am completing it. It is only showing chapter 1.1 for me. Oh, that's probably, yeah, I will have to, that's probably because it's searching quest name. It does look like there were 4 chapters, okay. I just wanted to make sure. I feel like there was something a little bit odd with that. And hello, Lanada. And Balamir, my class is the Warden. That is who I'm primarily going to play, at least at the start of this stream. The second half, looks like we talked to Durin, and he will want me to go. That's actually, yeah, that is Blood of Azog. So we're doing the interlude, Blood of Azog, and perhaps this is the big wrapper quest. Once we do all the regular Blood of Azog stuff, that is when I will get these rewards, is what I'm guessing. Because that seems like pretty big rewards right away for doing essentially nothing. So it looks like it actually tells you how to go to the War of Three Peaks, but we have to go to the War of Three Peaks and go to Zarkal's Saloon to continue the storyline. And as far as I know, the general story flow for people interested is this is, as we are preparing for Gundabad, of course, the next big update after Update 30 will be Gundabad. For Update 31, well, I guess we'll go to the War of Three Peaks and I can look on the map. But essentially, I think we are learning things from history and going back in time, and that has to do with Azanulbizar when we eventually go there. Let's see, the War of Three Peaks. I probably should have cleaned this character out a little bit, spent some time actually organizing this stuff on him. But yes, this character is going to have a messy inventory, but I am so used to that at this point that it actually does not seem like it's too messy of an inventory, even though it's like way crowded with stuff. So we are already at Zarkal's Saloon. I guess that's the name of Anak Curfew during the war. I remember this was a very fun zone. I don't know what all with the Blood of Azog, how quickly it will go to Azanulbizar, if there will be anything in the Elder Slate zone before we go there. Or, yeah, just the general deal with it. It looks like I have some quests. These must be repeatable quests, I'm guessing. You can actually turn in copper coins of Gundabad for Embers of Enchantment. I might do that real quick. I should have plenty of copper coins of Gundabad as far as I know. Yes, I have 348 of those. I did not know this was even a quest. That's how little of this content I have done. Probably don't want to do the supply pack, but I just thought that was interesting that I had that available right away. So it does look like for Blood of Azog, we need to do some stuff on the landscape here in War of Three Peaks, which I'm actually excited for. I know we're not going straight into the new zone, but I am actually excited to go back here because I think this is one of... Who are these people I need to talk to? Aha, that might help me if I actually show that. That was because I had that hidden because I was recording a video which actually had to do with the zones and I had to look at the map. So it looks like one person I need to talk to might actually be back at the camp, but we can wait on that and just work on defeating enemies and the such. I don't know what spec this character is, but it's not the spec I want to be in. I want to be in the yellow line. And want to switch to the range stance. So yeah, I'm really interested to see because I don't really quest in betas at all, even though I do the beta previews and do videos on that, and of course stream the Update 30 beta. As many people probably know, I don't really like questing or doing any of the actual content all that much in betas. It's more so just checking out all the new stuff without actually doing any of the content. So I don't know exactly where the story goes, but I'll be interested to see, especially with the missions, how some things are involved there, or if the missions are just basically random things, because I remember the missions had a lot of stuff. Wow, we didn't defeat any enemies and all that. I wonder if there are any particular enemies I want to defeat. It actually looks like Dragonkind. We can knock out the Dragon Slayer deed, maybe? Maybe. I don't know if it'll be that easy to find a bunch of dragons. I also don't know this character's build. Okay, it looks like he is the good heal line. I haven't played this character or been on the server all that much since update 29 when they changed Shattered Javelins. So I'm kind of forgetting this character's status and progress as far as his build goes compared to my other Warden on Anor, where I'm usually playing. I'll probably be on the server a lot more now though, with update 30 of course, exploring the new zone, questing through the new zone, the new raid. I intend to do that. Hopefully my kinship still has open spots in the raid for me. That would be ideal, of course. I am also noticing that my FPS is a little bit low, so I'm just going to check Task Manager real quick. And yeah, I always like to change the priority of LOTRO in the Task Manager because it usually boosts my FPS a little bit. And the reason I did not do that is actually because I disconnected from the game. That is a concern that I might disconnect again because I randomly disconnected right before I was going to start the stream. But hopefully that does not happen. I also have to get used to the pace of this character's combat compared to my other Warden, since it's been so long since I played him and defeated enemies. It feels a little bit fast, but I killed a signature there, and that was the slightly slower kill, of course, as it should be. I wonder if doing the content that I'm going to be doing today will make me more interested in the landscape difficulty slider or not. I really don't know my intentions. Hello, Pal Smiley. But I don't know my intentions if I would do something like turn the difficulty up on a character like this running through new content or not. It really depends on if it's rewarding. I think if I have a reason to do it for something like this would probably be the case where I actually would turn the difficulty up. For other characters, especially low-level characters, where I play them specifically for the difficulty, it's probably not as much of a problem. But that is where my thoughts are right now on the difficulty slider whenever it does come out on the new server. I think that is something I forgot to mention in my Update 30 video because somebody commented on it. I meant to specifically mention that that was not coming in Update 30, even though I think I already covered that in another video. But still, I meant to like explicitly state that. So for anybody wondering, that is not an Update 30, even though it was in the Update 30 beta. Okay, we have to talk to one more person, and he is back in the Anak Curfew. also known as whatever it is known as in the War of Three Peaks. Go ahead and head back there. We didn't really get too much of the exciting stuff. I was talking about the War of Three Peaks zone, this phase of the Elder Slate zone, being very fun to me, but doing a single quest like that just to kill 10 enemies was, I guess, not the most exciting. I didn't get to see all the zone, didn't get any repeatable quests or anything like that, didn't get lost on too many adventures, which is honestly probably a good thing, so I can keep focused on the new content that we have. Okay, so there's one NPC I need to talk to somewhere, and I see one tracker. That's actually to go. Blazon of the Gabalaka, that takes you to Elder Slade. I don't know if the person I need to talk to is in Elder Slade. I also see another quest ring right there, and that's actually the one I need to talk to. So probably have to go upstairs. There he is. I'm really hoping there are new interesting cosmetic sets, and that actually reminds me, the Figments of Splendor vendor, they added like Rowan somebody, I forget their exact name, but they added one of the rotating Figments of Splendor vendor, and they have some new options, and I feel like this character, I focused a lot on my cosmetics on the other server, on Anor, but I have neglected this character's cosmetics a lot lately, and he needs a change, I feel like, so hopefully there are new good cosmetics. There were new cosmetics with War of Three Peaks, of course, but they are kind of ugly to me. Unfortunately, I just don't like that armor. I briefly used it just for a change of pace because this character really needed something different, but yeah, we're going back to Anak Curfew, which it looks like we can just do the Blazon and travel there quickly. Hello, Shores Chronok, and yes, it is a Warden. No, you all would never expect me to play a Warden. Talk to Durin again. I wonder how many people are online. I don't check the server too much to see how many people are playing. It looks like non-anonymous is actually below 500, which is honestly a little bit lower than I expected. Alright, we need to collect letters and parcels. So these are... Wow, we get a scroll of empowerment for that. Yeah, I need to just ignore that quest. As far as I know, it's a very bad quest to actually do. Can barter for armor, but I do not want that because I've got to most of my armor from Shakalash. So Shores, I actually just talked about that right before you got into the stream, and that is not in the game yet. That is going to be on its own server at some point in the future. But even though it was in the Update 30 beta, it's not actually, did not actually come with Update 30. And pal, this is not Landrival. I play on Arkenstone. Okay, so we are just looking for parcels, can turn floating names on, and we can even see through walls with floating names. That feels like cheating, but there we go. I'm really interested to dive more into the landscape. That is one thing I did not get to do in the Update 30 beta that I wanted to do. As you all know, with past updates a long time ago, I would usually just run around the landscape and take in the scenery and even do videos on that. And then I stopped doing that for a while until update 29. I missed it for War of Three Peaks when I came back to YouTube to like make a video on that. But with Wildwood, I did the Journey Through Wildwood video, and I was hoping that I would do the same for update 30. I was kind of planning on it, but never got around to that. Every time I was able to do it, it seemed like the beta was not open at the time. So perhaps I could still do a video on that, but I am not too sure. We need 5 more parcels. We got some letters. I don't know where we're taking these letters or why we collected them, and I also don't know why we're collecting parcels. I feel like a mailman right now. Don't need a workbench. Yeah, 490 does seem low to me. I haven't, again, been paying too much attention to the population on Arkenstone, but I still would have expected higher, especially this late in the day, it's not that early, even though it's like 5:36 for me. I thought, oh, that's where these things were from. Well, I had a bunch of those pages as well. Oh well, I'll accept the quest again. I destroyed a crystal page because they were just taking up way too much space in my inventory, and that is what it was from. Hello, Ivan Stainer. It has been a long while since I have seen you, and it sounds like your personal life got in the way of YouTube and games, and you do not have to apologize for that. But I am just glad that you were able to get a chance to join this one. It's an exciting one because we're doing the Update 30 content, which is collecting letters and parcels. We also did defeat some enemies and talk to some dwarves, but that has been the main feature so far, it seems like, collecting letters and parcels and playing mailman. Yeah, starting on the Deadly tier, I feel like a new character, like with the new server, would be the ideal situation for me to turn the difficulty up. And a Warden on Deadly sounds quite fun to me. Especially at the low levels where their heals are a little bit better compared to how they're scaled at high levels like this. So we need to deliver the letters and the such to King Thorin in the Hall Under the Mountain in Erebor. I do not know Gurgo, or is it Gurjo? Don't know exactly on the name, but either way, you were wondering how much LOTRO points the new quest pack costs, and I do not know. What I do think, that's 5 mithril coins, really? Usually it's 1 mithril coin. If it were 1 mithril coin, I definitely would spend that to travel straight to the Hall Under the Mountain in Erebor. But for 5 mithril coins, I do not think so. And Ivan, it sounds like you have the 6-month badge. I believe you can change your badge. You can correct me if I am wrong on that, but as far as I know, you should have the flexibility on YouTube, if you remember, to change the badge depending on what is available. I just uploaded as many options as I could for people to choose what they want. Yours is a little drake. It's one of my favorite things in the game. Creatures in the game. It's actually an evil thing. It's a brood of Thorog. A little whelpling would be better way to phrase it than a drake. So we're going to Erebor. I wonder if they made that 5 mithril coins intentionally compared to all the other quests in the game being 1 mithril coin because it is new, and they thought that was a very long way to travel and they'll just get people to spend extra mithril coins on it. Maybe not, but some things feel a little bit too much like that in LOTRO sometimes. Who is that guy? He is a messenger of Erebor. I believe he is the one. It's a great quest. Maybe not. Oh yeah, he just wants me to talk to the king. Well, why not? I already have a quest to talk to the king. Maybe we should go ahead and do another one. If that is all the quest has me do, otherwise, a little bit of a waste of time to actually pick it up and bother with that. Alright, so we are in the mountain in Erebor. I don't believe we're in the Hall Under the Mountain yet, technically. I believe this is just in the mountain Erebor, and then the Hall Under the Mountain is not this hall, but that hall down over there. Ensures there is not a release date for the difficulty levels. I actually suspect it will get another round of beta, but I'm not entirely sure on that. One of the ways I see it working out, they have not mentioned anything specific on this, is potentially it being released, a new server when the Brawler comes out. That is complete speculation on my part. I don't know anything about that for sure. It could even not line up at all that way. But I'm kind of feeling like we might see the Brawler in beta soon, and they will keep the landscape difficulty stuff in the beta, and then have a new server and the Brawler all release at once. I don't know if I'd like it that way, but I could just see it going down that way in the future. Maybe not. Maybe they'd want to split it up, which I would honestly probably prefer anyway. I forget you can use a mount, but I don't believe in this part. I don't know if you can use a goat, which I don't even know if this character has. And I think where you can use goats, you can use pigs. So Pal, you hope that the Gundabad expansion finally adds a treasure room to Erebor. I have not paid enough attention to Erebor to have much thought on that, to be honest. Don't want that. I don't even know what quest I'm doing, actually. Disquiet in the halls? Okay, we're ignoring that quest. So I need to listen to this guy. And then we need to go down here and talk to Thoughts of Durin. Iron Garrison. I caught that word. Sometimes I do like to briefly glimpse at the quest text to know what is going on.
But so too does he ask for my guidance.
What I do know is this quest I just want to get rid of. And get rid of that. And get rid of that one. Okay, so the quest we are on, don't want that one either. We want this one, the Ethelharn Shard quest. So this is to Akra Zahar and the dwelling halls of Tumadun and Erebor. Okay. So we're just going outside to one of the halls in Erebor. So you can use a goat, but for some reason not boars. That is odd. I thought you could use a mount. I honestly don't know if this character has a goat even. I might have to, oh, I do have. I have Goat of the Threshold. That is from Amdan Damol. That is the only goat this character has, which is actually a kind of neat goat. The head armor, I don't know if I quite like the head armor. If you got rid of the head armor, maybe then the chest armor, I would like this goat. Also, my character is floating. Maybe I'm just not a natural goat rider as a high elf here, but I am just floating on it, which is really weird. It's kind of like riding a boar as an elf. I have not tried riding a boar as maybe a dwarf, for example, but it just doesn't seem to work out too well for most of the characters I play. Aha, so this might actually port you directly to Azanulbizar, at least the mission room where they had it in Azanulbizar. I don't think that's technically accurate what I said about that, actually, but that is left over from the beta. Yeah, maybe high elves are just too light. You're supposed to naturally sink into them, and high elves, they just don't quite weigh enough. Alright, here we go. We're on track. This is where I need to go, and this is, I actually kind of remember this from the beta. This is a normal elf. I actually completely forgot about that. This is not a high elf. All my other characters are high elves, but this one is an elf. All my other characters, at least, that were made after the high elf was invented. I'm guessing some people are doing some missions or something. Yeah, we will do those on other characters when we get to the, I guess, second half of the stream. I need to target Nar. Is that the mission guy? Ah, that don't look like Nar. Nar is somewhere. I don't think we need to go to Tales of Yore yet. Maybe we do. Somebody already healed Nar. Is he back here? There he is. Now we talk to him when he's done doing his role-playing phase stuff. Now somebody else has got him. Okay. So it sounds like stout axes look good on the pigs. That is good. I feel like pigs are more intended for dwarf and dwarf-like folk compared to high elves and apparently elves as well. And yes, the new server with the new difficulty sounds like it will be a legendary server, like a progression server. I don't know if they will continue it like they have done with Anor and up until very recently, like Ethel, but at the very least, it might be like Bombadil, like a sort of event server that might last a little while, and we don't have any official information. Sorry, I thought my mic was actually muted for a moment. I got concerned that y'all could not hear me this whole time, but that was not the case. Okay, get the Hobbit gifts out of my way. This stuff is starting to annoy me, so get that out of the way. Now I need to talk to Nar. Wow. Oh. There we go. Maybe. I'm questing very slowly today, but that is usual. Hello, Theo B.
Hope you take care of yourself, my friend.
Now we need to find Herseg, which I'm guessing is not this one. Oh, there he is. That is...
I do hope this isn't about the cave claws again. Last time was an accident, I swear it.
I cannot tell what that is. Is that a dwarf? Is it like a dwarf child? Is it a skinny dwarf?
I swear it. A missive from King Thorin. I do hope this isn't about the cave claws again. Last time was an accident.
At the very least, it's a female dwarf, I am assuming. But I did not think that females were supposed to be, like, apparently smaller than regular male dwarves, but either way, it just looked like a tiny dwarf to me. Maybe all dwarf women are supposed to look like that, but I really did think they were the same size as, like, dwarf men. Kind of like, what's her name? The one from the War of Three Peaks missions? She looks normal size. Ozma? So we are in Azanulbizar, so it does look like it takes you directly to Azanulbizar. I feel like they hinted or teased a little bit too much that you would do other things other than Azanulbizar in the Blood of Azog storyline, and perhaps in the future you might. But yeah, they talked about recounting historical parts, and the way I kind of read that was actually as it could be more than just Azanulbizar that you would go back to, but does not appear to be the case. And I feel very tall right now. They're talking about Eregion, the West Gate, the Red Horn Pass. So it sounds like, actually paying attention for once to the quest, as they went from Eregion to Azanulbizar, where we are right now, through the Red Horn Pass, which I guess I could just press M and it would not take me where I need to go. Either way, through the Red Horn Pass somewhere over here, outside of Moria, on top of Moria. Oh, there we go. And then they wanted to retake Khazad-dûm because I guess at this point the orcs overran it once again. Interesting little camp here. There is Nar right here, Thor right there, then there is Thor right here and Nar right here. But I guess that's what happens when they tell their story. They're in both places at once. Yeah, I don't think if you make a female Stoudex dwarf, I think they look like normal dwarves. That's why I was a little bit confused. I thought it could just be like a woman dwarf, but it still seems like an extra small dwarf. I don't know if it's supposed to be because she's like a younger dwarf or not, or if it's just that particular dwarf happens to be a little bit smaller looking. As possible, I suppose. So Mistweaver, I was trying to figure out what you were talking about being a long cooldown, and you said the new Ithilgalad crafted boxes, it sounds like they have a long cooldown, and you can only break down one at a time. I haven't looked into that. I guess this character, he is a Menace Ithil Taylor. Perhaps I got something new with that. Don't care about those. Maybe I actually do care about those. I think I need guild reputation for that. Wow, I can actually make this stuff? I did not know that. 445 is very high item level. All you need is a bunch of Ithilgalad hides and Ithilharn shards. That's actually pretty neat. Looks like they have... Yeah, this counts for the raid gear. But they have the tank, red DPS and yellow DPS versions. You can make a female Stoudex dwarf, and you can make a regular dwarf and just say it's a female, I think. Okay, so we're supposed to follow along. I haven't been paying too much attention. I got distracted by this crafting stuff. There's also, in addition to the chest piece, I thought there were helmets. I thought you could make the helmets gold. Perhaps I am confusing that with something else, or maybe that is what I needed guild crafting for, needed to get a specific recipe. I honestly don't remember that much. Ember worthy craft. Okay, so that's ember. I don't do enough crafting at this level. I just get disinterested in crafting, especially after the master tier. When you get to Moria, that's when I start getting disinterested actually, and then it's especially after like level 95, 100. I just haven't been a fan of crafting. There's some interesting stuff in Minas Ithil though. One of the things I really don't like actually is guild crafting. I think that is one of the problems I run into that really starts happening after a while, is I don't like guild crafting that much. Compared to regular crafting, it's just a little bit extra to jump through to get started on it compared to what I would rather. He just keeps waiting. That's how I feel sometimes, waiting for these quests to continue along. It's kind of interesting the way they're doing some of these zones and the storytelling and going back in time. Perhaps they are working on some things, or these ideas they've had for the way it works in game could be things they are sort of testing for the future. Perhaps things like scouring the Shire come to mind as possible paths they could go, and it seems like they have the right idea, I guess, for the implementation of something like that in game. And Shores, I am glad that you have enjoyed the stream and found it informative. That is, especially with launch streams like this, I try to be as informative as possible about all the new stuff as I am just jumping into it. I don't think all this new area has the odd color. This is because you are in an instance and they're doing the storytelling. And it is raining here, even though it's snowy on the ground. That's a little odd. I'll try not to complain too much about that. So Corey the Fox, you've only been playing for a week, and you are wondering if I would recommend a newer player hold off on crafting, and actually the opposite. I know there are a lot of things, a lot of systems in LOTRO, but perhaps you might enjoy crafting. A lot of people enjoy crafting and even like guild crafting, unlike me. I need a screenshot of this NPC. Her Sig. Somebody says we've been watching. It's a mysterious voice. I wonder what it is. I don't know exactly where we are in time, if that would be... I know there's Durin's Bane, the Balrog, as a part of the raid, the Fall of Khazad-dûm, but I don't know if that is where we are in the Tales, or if we're actually in Azanulbizar. I don't even know if that would be the mysterious voice. I'm not sure they can quite communicate like that, but maybe. Also, with crafting in general, it is probably better the earlier you get started on it, just because that means you can make more progress over time.
Trying to filch what's ours.
You're up bringing your reeking whiskers around these.
Who is that? Do not know who that is. It is a dwarf without a head, I believe.
You tell them.
That reminds me, seeing the headless dwarf somehow reminds me of the Update 30 logo they had, and I thought it was actually pretty good. That's something I've noticed a trend recently, is the art for updates and the such seems to be getting better, especially compared to maybe a little bit after Mordor. That could be. Could be one of the previous... Oh, it's Thor. His head is right there. I was like, I'm trying to see who it could be because I can't click that thing, but it is his head. His head is right there. So it is Azog, who fortunately is not Mazog. If it were Mazog again, then I probably would not be enjoying this too much.
Yeah, some coin for the LOTRO.
So perhaps Azog is the big, I don't know, big bad guy, big evil enemy in Azanulbizar during that era, maybe? These Moria orcs look familiar. They don't seem like they've changed too much over time. The current Moria orcs we have, and more present day Lothorian / Moria and LOTRO, they look quite similar. Zunar fled. That's a lot of text there.
Racked with sorrow. The sight of his king's defilement branded in his heart. As for now, there is far more to be said of his tale. Let us hope that
Okay, so it looks like in this we now get to go to the Battle of Azanulbizar, which is during the Sixth War between the dwarves and the orcs. They seem to get in a lot of wars over time. So we will go to the Tales of Yore and jump straight into the new zone. That was a little bit quicker than I expected, to be honest, which that is not the way there. You talk to this little book right here. There's a little set of books, rather. I don't think it's a single book. And this will tell us the tale of Azanulbizar. And one of the interesting things going on here is the way they are doing this story. So in a way, it's kind of like a session play, but it is your character. So the way I think about that, especially for people that are very lore interested in the update and something like this, is it's kind of like your character is reading about this, reading about whatever is going on, but when you envision it, you envision yourself going through all this stuff, like yourself as the hero essentially going through this, even though it is technically you're experiencing the war as Hermath Stormhammer, but then it's your character. And I think that is a way, that idea is a way they can actually get around things like, people always talk about Beornings, and actually somebody brought it up, Ken Bennett brought up Mordor Besieged. It's kind of like people bringing up Beornings in Mordor Besieged, because even though Beornings, as far as I know, the reason I hear that a lot is like Beornings weren't around at that time or whatever. But I feel like the way you could think about that to get around it essentially is that you're just envisioning yourself experiencing that, even though it's not actually like you're a Beorning around at that time or whatever. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong on the whole Beorning thing. That's just something I see brought up a lot as far as lore goes in the game. And there are a lot of things, just thinking about the MMORPG gameplay experience, a lot of things that might be slightly inaccurate to account for the just actual game. Kind of like, as far as I know, with high elves as well. There could be thousands of high elves at once in like a single area, even if that's probably not likely to have happened at any time in the Lord of the Rings. Alright, so we are following them. I believe we already followed them, or do we have to go all the way up here? Oh, they wanted me right up here front and center. I was just going to hide in the back because I feel like I don't really fit in. I feel like I stand out and stand tall. It's been a while since we've had anything elf, or there's not too much Hobbit related, I guess, but it's been a while since we've had anything elf related. There was some of the stuff, I guess, in Northern Mirkwood, but after that it went all dwarf for a while, and before that there was a lot of Race of Man stuff with Gondor, and before that there was Rohan, which was mainly Race of Man, I think. And then I think before that we had Mirkwood, which was a very long time ago for the other elf thing. And even Northern Mirkwood, that was just a relatively small section in the zone. So there are 7 houses at Amdan. So yeah, this is the raid Amdan Damal, which is very weird, is in outside of the gates of Gundabad. During the, I guess you have to actually go to the War of Three Peaks part of the map. which there used to be a quick way there. I don't think there is anymore, but if I go there quickly, I believe that's supposed to be like over in this area. I guess it didn't really matter switching the maps. And then this is Amdan, the threshold. Amdan Devol's the bloody threshold, which is the raid. So it's a little bit confusing. There seems to be a lot of names shared somehow between Azanulbizar and Elderslade, but perhaps I'm just thinking of it all wrong. Cheer for Thrain. There is Thrain. Now everybody cheers for Thrain. At least we are in sync. Oh. I thought it wanted me to cheer for him again. I'm really interested to see how this zone turns out with questing. Probably won't get into it all too much today, but I am interested to see how the questing is, because for some reason what was in the beta just didn't really excite me too much, unlike Wildwood. I don't think the beta was all that bad or anything, but whatever it was about, I couldn't quite get as excited. So there's Thorin. That is Thrain. That is where I got my names mixed up. There's Agni. Wonder where all these dwarves are from. If they're all from different areas, there's Zelruka, which is... I remember that name coming up. I don't remember exactly where that is, but I don't really know where any of these places are. But if these guys are significant in their areas like Abnuzu, Combrata, if these are all unique areas, that's a lot of areas where dwarves inhabit. There is one of them, let's see, as far as I know, dwarven places. We'll catch back up on what's going on, but perhaps they could be from like Iron Hills is one, there's Erebor would be another. I don't know the other side of Misty Mountains if there's much of anything, but maybe. Yeah, perhaps some other places with dwarves, but... I am just not familiar with any of these names, basically. There's Narfanghoth. Hey, Andrew McKinnon. I have not been practicing my Dwarven pronunciations, which is probably not a good thing. There's definitely some things that'll take me a bit. Like Zarakazar. You'll probably hear me sometimes randomly stop talking as I try to actually think how to pronounce names like Khazad-dûm. And then this one is Atrad Zarok. So there's Zarok and Zirak Hazar. And Barazanbar, which is Redhorn. Bundashathar. Kibble Nala is this one. Nala-dûm, that is the name of something. That is like the mirror halls or something. From the Lothorian Instance Cluster, which I believe is in Waterworks actually of Moria. There's Dane. Dane, that name actually sounds familiar. They mentioned Iron Folk, if he's from Iron Hills. I don't know if that's why that name is familiar. Nain. Actually, Nain is the one that's familiar, not Dane. And these guys I see, Lord of the Iron Hills, that is one I am actually familiar with. Groen, Glowin, Owen. Wow. There's Groen, Glowin, and Owen. Dwalin, Balin. Actually, I feel like they should be pronounced the same way. I say Dwalin and then Balin and then Kaelin, but it's all a little bit different. Hello, Berind. That is about all I feel somewhat comfortable pronouncing in your name, but hello there. Oh, for Thor. I think I was supposed to say that. Now I have to talk to Dane, actually, which could be Dayan, for all I know. That's the thing with the Dwarven pronunciations, is a lot of them I don't even know. A Numenos, that's a little bit odd for somebody to be searching for a Numenos level 56 and then 3 out of 4 instead of wanting to run like a full 6-man of it, and at that somewhat odd level. And it's odd that they actually have 3 people. Pow, I have watched the Hobbit films, but it has been a while. So it looks like we completed chapter 1, now we're ready for the open landscape. Okay, so it looks like there is a new trophy. What are these things called? Barter currency? Yeah, currency. Zakov Beshek. So we can get some Zakov Beshek here. I'll be interested to check out the rewards vendor. I thought I heard a weird noise. That was just my cat. There's a provisioner? He's not actually a vendor. I thought provisioners were supposed to be like proper vendors, but maybe not. Here's the reputation person right here. He has a bunch of armor and weapons down there. They're kind of ugly. I hope, again, I'm looking for the cosmetics, but hoping they're not ugly. Bag of coins. So there is the muster in Azanulbizar, which requires Dummel. I don't even remember what Dummel is, but cosmetic oaken shield on your back. That is a long name for a cosmetic. That's an interesting cosmetic, but it's a very small, thin like shield. Stormhammer cloak. I haven't been too much in the mood for cloaks. This character has a cloak, but I haven't been much for cloaks lately. See, here's an actual oaken shield. I'm not sure I'd actually use that shield. I'm not liking these cosmetics so far. We'll see what else there is. There's striking essences. You could actually get striking essences just for, I assume, a lot of reputation. And for the Zakov Beshek. Then there's a bat. So as far as I know, for the Habanaka of Thurine, that is all there is as far as rewards. A lot of housing things. There's a task board, help with the reputation, which I might actually be able to take advantage of. If they need onyx scales, nope. I think onyx scales is the only task item I have a lot of, so not much there for me. I think I'm actually getting progress on the quest. I'm just exploring things at this point. I don't know what's down here. It looks like just more dwarven camps. I keep saying I've learned of stuff. Perhaps that's for a deed, because I don't see any quests actually tracking down here. Oh, the Bree event. I have not done that Alanada to actually know if it's worth doing or not. I think it is Hobnanigans that is currently going on. Some people like that, some people don't, I think. That is really weird. Somebody just linked that piece of gear. It's level 120. Maybe that's why it seems really weak, because it's level 120. It's minimum level 120 and maximum level 120. That's pretty harsh. That's why I like why my face cam is where it is, which, speaking of, I should probably match my chat box to that size, but why my face cam is where it is, above the chat boxes, so y'all can see that. And of course see like loot I get and all that sort of stuff. It's probably a little bit hard, probably small text. But that is one reason for that. Master Architect. He's a Master Architect, but a lot of his stuff is getting destroyed, which he's probably not too happy about. And he already has an instance for me. Gory. Ruins of the Ancestors. So is this place? No, this is the bridge. Supposed to follow him, but I don't think that's quite what is going on. Yeah, a lot of people like the buried treasure. I see how he got his title of Master Architect or whatever it was. I already forgot. I just know it's Architect. He could tell that that was a dwarf. There's a lot of lag when it finally makes me move. Alright, I need some screenshots of this dwarf. So for the update 30 video, the dwarf in the thumbnail, that was the only dwarf I have. And for some reason, I think I decided to make his beard as long as possible, like the longest option you could in the game. I don't really remember. I made that character a long time ago just to have something a little bit different and actually try a dwarf. And he is the only dwarf that I have not deleted. It was actually on the Landraval server. Okay, I'm going to try to get a screenshot here. It's actually better when I have him clicked, because then he's light. Go that way. There we go. Oh, we actually have to protect him now. I see an enemy up there, a Dale Wolf. But then there are some Moria orcs over here. So we get some combat in the new zone. We'll see if these actually count for anything. If they unlock any deeds or anything interesting. They're doing a good chunk of damage to me. I know it's like 4 orcs at once, but still, I usually don't expect to take that much damage on this character. So the treasure event, Dot, as far as I know, that's all I can see with your name, is a little period. But you said you spent the whole weekend during the event trying to get a steed, and then you never got one. I wonder, I've never done that, so I don't know if there's some like RNG element perhaps. Usually really like snowy zones, but this one is kind of cluttered. We'll see if it clears out eventually. But I feel like the clutter just helps contribute to the lag, although it's not quite as bad right now. There's level 105 armor. That is... Is that raid armor? Perhaps that's the level 105 raid armor they're linking.
My ancestors spent much time looking mistakes.
So there's that helmet. That is a level 105 helmet, and this is... Whatever they changed, this is something somebody else is linking. I don't know the sources of these helmets. I just thought that was interesting. Whenever I see gear linked in a new update, I check it out because I have been perhaps a little bit slow, and there's a plugin I know you can look at all that sort of stuff in game. Item Treasure, I believe is the name of it, but I have not done that. Oh, accidentally used goad. I guess I missed my shield bash skill. Which, speaking of shield bash, I wasn't intending on doing too many landscape quests. I thought I was just picking stuff up and this dude had me do this instance, but it's probably about time to start switching characters and doing some of the missions once we actually get all the quests. There we go, we got done with that. And we can also check out the mission rewards. It's probably actually a good idea if I make my milestone here, especially because it seems like it could be kind of difficult to travel here if you always have to go to Erebor. Just a little bit convenient and inconvenient rather, and out of the way. Don't want to. My lore master, I am not sure. Lore master would be 1. I would intend to hit all the classes that got updated and just do some missions on them. Which most of that would actually probably be on the Anor server rather than this one. I randomly just got 8 Zakaf Bashek, perhaps for turning in a quest that was just a little delayed with actually giving me the reward. There's a lot of quests here. That is a good thing. That is a good sign, at least for me, that we're getting lots of quests to do. I don't want to jump into a big quest set. Oh, it is morning for you, Dot in Japan. Again, I don't know on the name. That is all I say is a little period. But I hope I enjoy the update as well. If you get a chance to play it, I hope you enjoy it. Let's see, accept.
We shall deprive the enemy of their foul schemes.
Oh, the one I am on right now is my Warden, not the Lore Master. Alright, so we have a huge amount of quests. As far as I know, it's a huge... Yeah, we got a ton of quests. I am actually really excited to do these quests, but I'm going to have to hold off on that because today the focus is mainly on the new stuff. Of course, all this is new, but I don't want to spend the next couple hours of the stream like the last amount of time I have today. Wow, we got even more quests. I don't want to spend the entire time essentially just doing these quests. What I can do is continue to run around the camp. I didn't even know there was more stuff. I thought I was actually just about done. I usually like huge quest sets like this, as you all can probably tell. Usually that means it is going to be an exciting adventure. And because I did none of the quests in the beta, that is probably one reason I couldn't get excited about this update, excited about the questing, is because I had no idea what it could be like going into it. One thing I noticed with the environment is all the dwarves here, of course, and their weapons. So you see this dwarf, he's dual wielding like he's a champion or something, but that's pretty normal. But what you see right here are dwarves with spears. Like, are Dordans an actual thing way back in this time? Maybe. Which, by the way, the name Dordan, if dwarves ever get to be wardens, I will actually make and level up a dwarf. And it will be named Dordan. So hopefully, one, that name is available, and two, nobody actually takes that name, if that ever becomes a reality in the future. Bedraggled? Is that their actual name, Bedraggled? Or is it like Bedraggled? Bedraggled, maybe? Oh look, this guy's got... He's got a nice spear. So these are... I wonder what type of dwarves these are. They're very purple. They got some nice colors. See, armor like that I probably wouldn't mind too much. The belt is a little bit excessive for me, but... Oh, we can't actually use the training dummies. They have the same training dummies we have everywhere else in Middle-earth. They aren't quite unique with that. It'd be really neat, though, if you could get the cosmetic sets of all these different dwarf tribes, I guess. All these different dwarf folk. But yeah, with that one reputation vendor, they really do not have much to barter for. I was hoping there would be more exciting rewards, but maybe there's more from quests or something like that. Or perhaps there is more that they intend to add later. Another spear wielding dwarf. I actually think these are the first ones where I started to point that out. Alright, where are we headed? Anything interesting here? Not really. We've already seen a bunch of dwarfs like this, so we can go ahead and move on. There's a tiny tree. I think that's supposed to be a tree. Could just be a bush, but it looks like a very tiny tree. Which sometimes bushes look like that anyway, as long as they're not the ugly bushes that we have. These dwarves are making that hobbit look extra tiny. Actually, I meant to phrase that the other way, because of course hobbits look tiny. The other way was that hobbit is making the dwarves look extra huge and tall even. Hold up, there was a quest turn in here.
We are friends, the Durin's folk.
Well, we got one quest done, the Bedraggled. Still don't know on that. What is this place called? Gabalthurku? That's like Gabalaka, but it's Thurku instead, so it's Gabalthurku. Sounds like a lot of people are lagging a lot as well, so it's probably actually better that I don't get to doing a lot of the landscape zone quests until the lag dies down a little bit, maybe.
Do you ask if the Nordfall?
That guy is floating. I thought there was something odd about this dwarf. We're getting all sorts of great sights. It's floating right there. So these dwarves, they also have interesting armor. That could be a neat cosmetic set. I don't know for an elf like this character, but something like that could definitely work with. Okay, now down to this camp, which I don't know if I have any quests to pick up as we go through this, but these are also kind of neat. I still want to explore all the dwarf camps. It looks like there is actually something to the south, but I see a quest ring icon up here to the north that I can go ahead and take care of. Looks like this is a pickup quest to talk to some resting soldiers. Back up north. Yeah, it's very cluttered, very messy here in Azanulbizar, but I guess that is what happens when you're preparing for war and there are tons of trees around. Okay, so we're heading south, even though it feels like we're going north. Here are more spear-wielding dwarves. I know technically, what is up with his face? Something just feels weird about that face. Does this guy have the same face? He kind of does. Their eyes are really wide open. That's what I feel like. Oh, the camera couldn't zoom out. I was trying to zoom out, but it was because of this little torch thing. Is what that was about. Even this guy, he's supposed to be like sick looking, but he does not look sick at all to me. I don't know if he's supposed to be sick, actually. He's a resting soldier. That's why I thought he was supposed to be sick, but I don't even think he's a resting soldier anyway. That was something totally different. Alright, sometimes it is fun to just completely run into everything, or everybody in that case. We have one more camp to go through. I feel like we've been running around these camps for a while now, but it is interesting to me checking out all the little things, and I actually did get some virtue XP, which, speaking of, what virtue am I earning? So for this character, I know I got my main 5 virtues all the way leveled up. It looks like I have all the DPS ones equipped, which is good for now. I do have Fidelity and Honor. I think I talked about this in a video recently, but Fidelity and Honor are my backup virtues, and then I guess Fortitude is my extra backup. Tolerance could be another option if I really need tactical mitigation. But yeah, basically at this point, I'm working on 1 fresh virtue for extra backup, or really a 3rd backup in a way even. Okay, so that is all there is here. Resting soldiers, that is going to be, that's actually back at the main camp, so we can go ahead and get that done. It's to the northwest. So these dwarves are holding hammers, not quite spears, even though if you take out the big hammer part of the hammer and just have that pointy part, then it could essentially be a spear. Though I feel like the big heavy mallet part should definitely be. Yes, the virtue cap is increased to 75, as well as considering like clicking loyalty as an earning one, which I guess at this point I could do. The main reason I wouldn't want to do that is if I'm on one of my last couple of virtues and then the extra just goes into, I believe it would be charity at that point. I'm not 100% sure that's how it works. Actually, I think it would go into the next highest level one. There was a reason I was doing that for my Warden on an Ore, and I think it was because of the XP I had distributed on some other virtues where there was like 1 or 2 virtues where I actually didn't want to level them up, so I wouldn't waste virtue XP, even though it's really hard to waste virtue XP unless you're capped on all of your virtues. Okay, we still need to talk to 1 more resting soldier, which I guess F10 might be a better way to do that, except it'll give me basically everybody, and I cannot see on the tracker. It looks like to this way, maybe. Perhaps over here? There is the one. He actually looks like he's resting. Then we go back and turn that in, I suppose. Alright, at this point, we can try riding our war steed through this. That is always a fun challenge to me. Which I don't really need that buff up. I'm gonna go ahead and cancel that. But just like with Minas Tirith, I feel like it will be a little bit of a challenge to ride your war steed through Amdan here. If I can ever go the right way, I honestly don't know how to get back to that side of the camp. Jump over that. Couldn't quite make it. Actually broke my leg. It's going to forcibly slow me down. This is one reason I wasn't riding my war steed throughout this place the entire time. Okay, are we headed on the right path? I believe so. But because of the slowness from things like this and what was just going on earlier, I think it's rubber banding me back to that tent. I think I dismounted. I do not know. I think I'm running into that lag that everybody else is experiencing. Right, now we are back on track for real. I think. Maybe. My war steed did not want to turn. I am running into issues. This is really why I did not get on my war steed to begin with. It's usually a fun challenge until you just start running into things the entire time. Alright, then we are going to jump down here. Probably jump too far. I actually don't know. I'm just skipping all over the place, but fortunately I did not end up in the river. That is what matters. I did not end up in the river. Check the area. Okay, that is an actual quest out in the landscape. We're getting some Zakov Beshik, which is good for eventually when we can use those on hardly anything it looked like, unfortunately. I also got Damol, so I got the first reputation tier, which means I can go ahead and get my muster here, which also means there's probably no point in setting my milestone here at the same time. Yes, the rubber banding really is real. And I already have this guy in use. We are getting lots of lag right now. Okay, let me back up and try again, which perhaps could be a problem. Oh, there he goes. Back. Yeah, I will just let it do its thing now. Unfortunately, we are getting a lot of lag, but for the second half of the stream, I will be switching to Anor, which will be whenever we get done talking to this guy, actually, is when I plan to do that. So I'll go ahead and get muster and see if there's anything else. Nothing else I can go ahead and barter for. And the only thing I'm really interested out of everything else that they offer with the new zone, the new reputation in this update, are some essences, unfortunately. I think there's only one new reputation faction, but there is the missions. That is probably something separate that is a new reputation faction, actually. So there are probably two, if you consider the missions a new one, which I definitely would. But yes, it is time to go ahead and swap over to Anor, so I can play some of the classes that have gotten updated and do some missions. I'm excited to actually do some real content. Not that the content I have done is not real, but to actually jump into more combat focused stuff. And we are going to save the rest of the landscape, all the regular zone quests, for my playthrough on that, which will be on this character, and we'll get somewhere eventually. I'm going to go ahead and switch. You all can see while this is going on, my background with the Middle Earth map there. I gotta remember what classes were updated. Number one would be Rune Keeper. That's the one I'm honestly most excited for as far as the updates go. So we will go ahead and go on my Rune Keeper. But to point out on the map where we were right here, just outside Moria. We came all the way from just east of Mount Gundabad there. Also, I forgot to point out my shirt is the Dimrel Dale shirt, which seemed at least a little bit thematic while we're not doing Moria. Not the Dimrel Dale shirt. That is where we were. We were in the Dimrel Dale. That is the Durin's Door shirt. As far as I know, that's what it's called. You know, that little thing. This character is at the wrong missions area. But the good news is, with Update 30, we can take a stable master straight to Akbaz Zahar, which is the new mission area in Erebor. I feel like I am ready to go on a journey. I forgot this character. His outfit is basically a journey. He has a adventurous hat, and then he even has a day pack. He's the character that's always going on some sort of adventure journey type thing. But yes, Rune Keeper was updated and I actually got on Fire Rune Keeper. Got this guy spec'd into the red line, which looks like a little bit of an odd DPS focus setup, I suppose. So one thing I didn't go over in the video that I did so far was actual changes, because I hadn't played the new classes, not the new classes, but the updated versions of the classes, and I did not get to actually show. I took a screenshot of all these skills, all the classes that got, yeah, that is actually pretty neat, that armor, that red guy. The classes that got updated, what I want to do is look at how these skills changed. So I got screenshots on a lot of these skills on what they were before the update, and then we can look at them after. All those characters I did were actually on Arkenstone, but that will be coming up in my next video on this update. So let's look at the rewards for the missions. These were not in here when I played the beta, and it looks like there is, of course, some level 130 stuff. There's armor as well. So this is where the armor is, maybe, okay. Some 426 item level, and you only need 1 essence. That is good for people that don't want to worry about essences. This is good for them. There's 105 stuff, which is relevant to this server, even though I gotta admit, the secondary stats on these are really, really weird. Incoming healing, physical mitigation, resistance rating, evade rating. I am not sure anyone really wants those, to be honest. This gear got a lot less exciting very quickly, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't know about this gear. It's good vitality, but defensive stats are not exciting. Look at all the levels, just to be sure, but none of this stuff looks good to me, unfortunately. We'll see. Eventually we might get to stuff. No, we're down to level 100, so it's all probably going to be the same going down. The level 130 stuff looked a little bit better. Let's see if we go way this page. Yeah, the level 20 stuff is even the same. That's really unfortunate. This does not look like a win to me, but let's look at the cosmetics. That is a cloak. That's actually an interesting cloak, besides that it has a boot on it. Not a fan of the boot. Hat of... Wait, actually, let's look at the regular cloak. Hat much like Velat. Hat much like Velat? Is that what it's supposed to be? I have no idea what Velat is. I don't know if it's a person or a hat type that looks like this. It's really hard to see. The dressing room is unfortunately very small. There's Banner of Azog. East Gate of Moria Arc. I feel like people who like Dwarvish stuff, a lot of the housing items perhaps could be good, but overall, it's a Russian hat. It does kind of look like, I'm trying to think what those are called, but it kind of does look like a Russian type hat. Toboggan? I'm not sure if that is the right name for that hat, but either way, that might be something totally different. All the cosmetic rewards between the regular zone, whatever that reputation was called, and the Karam Ubnar, the missions guy, I'm not a big fan of those, even the armor rewards. I'm not a big fan of any of the rewards, it seems like, in this update. We'll go through the questing and see where that leads eventually. We are in Sarkol Saloon, actually. We're in the War of Three Peaks. I feel like I should be doing a War of Three Peaks mission. I think a signature mob will come out. So one thing I did want to look at with the Rune Keeper is how the damage of certain skills change, because I feel like, for me at least, one of the big issues with Fire Rune Keeper is basically all the damage was put into Smoldering Wrath. It did like insanely larger amount of damage. Ushanka, that is the name of the hat. That actually sounds familiar. But I felt like one of the problems with the Fire Rune Keeper damage is so much damage was focused on Smoldering Wrath compared to other skills, that it seemed like, it really did seem like it was all in Smoldering Wrath. Even though Essay of Fire, that actually does a lot of damage over time, and it still looks like it does. And Essence of Flame had a little bit good upfront damage, but even looking at all these numbers we have right now, it still seems like Smoldering Wrath is going to not only be the strongest skill, but like by far be the strongest skill. There's the Mystifying Flames debuff. That one is kind of interesting because it probably makes the Rune Keeper more valuable, especially at least as a single slot in a raid, because decreasing the incoming damage of an enemy, of course, means everybody else will be stronger on them. Did I say decreasing the incoming damage on an enemy? Should increase the incoming damage on an enemy. This mission is probably not good for the fire spec, to be honest. Even though I'm killing the signatures really quick, I feel like this is a bad mission to choose. It's a little bit of an odd mission. I don't remember playing through any mission that is quite exactly like this. We'll see. Smoldering Wrath. Yeah, that is definitely kills thing quickly. I do not know if Fire Rune Keeper or Lightning Rune Keeper is the strongest now after update 30. There are some frost spells, but there's no spec dedicated specifically to frost. Those are mostly utility things. Flurry of Words is one that's pretty useful. Can be useful, at least. Alright, I will try to keep my attunement up as we go ahead and pull the next one, so we can just get a big Smoldering Wrath. Wow, Smoldering Wrath is killing these things so quickly. That is, I don't know, for me it's exciting to have a skill, of course, that is like your big skill that does most of your damage, or at least it's your strongest skill, but this is kind of crazy stronger, and it seems like that is still true after this update, even though we have just killed a few signatures. But it's something that can one-shot signatures, one-shot as in throughout the entire channel duration, it can kill a signature. And I don't know about elites. That would be pretty tough for it to do. I also forgot to elite the chest, but with the rewards not being exciting, I honestly don't mind missing out on that all too much somehow. How about Claws of Gavel Shot there? We'll try this mission out. Probably do 2 or 3 missions for each class. That was a pretty quick mission, so... Okay, this one I did do in the beta. I remember doing this on my Beorning. Okay, let's try a fresh enemy, 1 Smoldering Wrath. 1 tick of Smoldering Wrath will one-shot it. That is crazy. Fire Rune Keeper still could be fun, but... Again, for me personally, I would just rather more damage be put into these side skills. That was a pretty strong crit from Essence of Flame, though. Perhaps it's just so strong with these missions, I can't even tell. I'd have to go to like the target dummy on my Ken Island to properly test this, which we could do if... I guess I should mention this for anybody watching this. If you are interested in me testing anything specific, especially with the classes that were updated, I can do that. What gear am I using? That is a good question. I am using level 95 crafted gear for the most part and some epic battle jewelry. All level 95 stuff pretty much. My tactical mastery is 189.9%, so it's actually almost capped. It's roughly 10% under the cap. I'm not running into too many enemies at once. I also need to seal the things. One thing I want to test is Combustion. Based on the numbers it shows on this, it's still not extremely strong, but I remember Combustion for a while there feeling quite weak. I also believe Combustion, it says effects applied to enemies within 5 meters. That is that, and then the second effect applied to enemies in 5 meters. The damage over time, that is actually not something it does. I believe that is not something it does. At least I have not seen it. Perhaps it is an AoE. I'd actually have to test that again. We'll see. Yeah, anything that uses inductions is considered bad. That is sometimes true, and unfortunately. So for you, Talagar, Combustion hits huge. I wonder if that was that before the update or after the update, or perhaps even both? Well, I want to test with Combustion because I honestly, it's been so long I forgot exactly how it worked. Okay. We're going to not apply Rid of Fire and just use Combustion as it is. Okay, so they got Searing Words, they got Molten Flame. It does not apply a dot, okay. I did not think that it did apply a dot. Let's see how the Fire Runestone is. That's still relatively weak. That wasn't changed all that much, damage-wise for this character at least. Yeah, especially if you are on a regular server, maxing out the tactical damage on an imbued ally is crazy. For this character, still, I think the base that we have available, it's actually level 16, so not even that high as far as tactical damage goes. I could get it a lot higher. Couldn't get it quite as crazy as the regular servers, but still, level 100 characters get crazy more powerful, both from gear and from imbued allies. Even then, virtue traits, as far as I know, start being pretty strong. Seems mostly noticeable, I feel like, starting around level 100, but that's probably because a lot of different things. So Combustion for you, Talagar, can hit 400k. I'm trying to think quickly what I was getting on Luida, and that seems pretty strong because as far as I remember, signatures have maybe mid to upper 100,000 morale. We're going pretty slow with this mission. I don't feel like this is a super slow mission. I'm just going through it quite slow right now. And I can't really test the Rune Keeper redline. That was one of the points of doing this, even with the alts, is to test the gameplay, but when things are dying this quick, it's kind of hard, to be honest. Which is, I guess, saying that Fire Rune Keeper isn't that bad. One problem I do run into, even with my level 120 Rune Keeper on Arkenstone, is sometimes I feel like I'd rather use lightning skills than fire skills, even when spec'd in the redline, which obviously shouldn't be the case. Especially with something, when you get lots of trait points, especially something like Vivid Imagery. As far as I remember, I have Vivid Imagery. But especially something like that, since it does really high damage. I don't think I want to use Epic Conclusion all that much playing redline, but some of the skills like Essence of Stormy can quickly use that, get a good amount of damage, and get 3 attunement very quickly. Alright, we get to fight a big thing, which is a minor spoiler, but that it will actually be a chance for me to test things. Also, one thing I did want to look at was Scathing Mockery. That is a skill that was basically very rarely useful back in the old days. It was actually more useful to use Fire Ridicule, even disregarding the induction time. But now, I'm actually still not sure it's going to be that useful, but that was only a very quick look at the numbers. Actually don't think I want to use the Runestone if I really want to max out my damage there, but he is dying quickly anyway, so I don't think it matters. One thing to consider with this character though, especially level 100 and higher, is this character has a lightning imbued ally. It's not built for fire. So also I can unpin my message. I don't know why I randomly saw that about the start time of the stream. But oh, what was I going on about? I don't even remember anymore. Yeah, lightning. This runestone is built for lightning, so it could be even crazier if it were built for fire. So it could be kind of hard for this character to compare lightning and fire when I have my runestone built for fire, even though it's not that high level. And that is true, Mistweaver, that compared to back in the day, imbued allies are buffed up even a little bit from that. It is only level 16 still, as far as if I got it to the final tier, of course. I don't remember the initial implementation of imbued allies at level 100 with Eastern Gondor. I think that was Eastern Gondor it came out. What the tier was, what like the max tier was back then, but it is possible that it's a little bit better than the old implementation of that. So what I'm thinking for the Rune Keeper is I will go to my Ken Island and we can actually test lightning versus fire with my okay-ish gameplay. Unless anybody else wants me to do different, I just thought that would be something interesting with the update for me to kind of compare them, where I can actually fight things for a little bit longer than those missions mobs. So if I remember how to play Fire Rune Keeper since it's been so long, is on long fights you can use Scathing Mockery even on a single mob. This hat annoys me. Over time, I like this hat, but then it starts annoying me over time. The backpack can a little bit, but that is okay. Actually, I want that hat back on. I changed my mind. But yeah, I think on long fights I can use Scathing Mockery, and also, actually I want to get my single plugin that I use as Combat Analysis actually tests with that. And then after this, I want that over here, probably want it over here where you all can see. Make sure, I believe you all can see both these windows, but my preview screen is so small I can't even tell. Either way, let's go ahead and get started with this. This could be a very bad test, but something to just get an idea of where this character's power level stands, as I've actually forgotten how to play Fire Rune Keeper. So it looks like you can build up to Combustion pretty quickly. It'd be quite nice if I could actually weave that in. That should get me, and then we have Smoldering Wrath, so it does look like you can weave in Combustion. I don't know how useful that is on a single target, but it does look like something that is possible. I also have to remember that it could be good to reapply Scathing Mockery, just because I'm not actually used to using that. Let's see, yep, that is about done, so next stop we can replace that. Remember, a lot of downtime in the old days of Rune Keeper was actually alternating these two skills like that. Wonder what my strongest skill is. We can actually look at that, and it is by far Smoldering Wrath. That is the exact thing with the Fire Rune Keeper that I didn't like so much about the gameplays. It seemed like so much damage was focused on your couple strong skills compared to actually spreading it out a little bit. That's just unfortunate to me, that the damage, overall damage, is so dependent on both Smoldering Wrath and Essay of Fire, it looks like. Essay of Fire, for people unfamiliar, I've talked a lot about Smoldering Wrath, but this one is Essay of Fire, which is strong for a few reasons: the damage it does, the damage over time it does, and finally, making your next induction skill have no induction, which should probably be Scathing Mockery, more than I'm actually using it for Scathing Mockery here. Oh, I'm out of power. That is not good. We have power potions, hopefully. If not, I have probably hundreds of them on my Warden. So we've gone about 2 minutes. It always feels like it's a long time just attacking target dummies. It's not always the most exciting thing gameplay-wise, but I guess that's why it makes it sometimes feel like it takes forever. I did not mean to use that skill there. That was a complete miss. Wasn't a click, but a complete mispress, I guess, of the keys. Essence of Flame is my next strongest skill, which is probably this one. Combustion isn't really doing all that much damage, it seems like. I would actually be curious to compare even Combustion to Shocking Words as it is right now. Am I out of power again? Is that an actual issue that Fire Rune Keepers have, is running out of power? It's been so long since I've played it, I don't remember. But I feel like this test is probably about done. We're almost at 3 minutes into the combat analysis. So 17,224 damage. I don't know if that's any good, but it will be more interesting to compare to Lightning, which whenever this resets is what I will compare it to next. But to look at my skills and the damage they dealt, we can make this window bigger while we're doing this. Is Smoldering Wrath by far was my strongest ability, and then Essay of Fire was like by far my strongest second best ability, and then Searing Words Tier 3 was my next. And then Rid of Fire, Essence of Flame, Scathing Mockery, that is that skill, I believe. And then we had Combustion. So Combustion had 7 hits, a little bit over 20,000 each hit. compared to my single shocking word, which is only 7.6 thousand. This guy should reset eventually. Oh, it takes a minute, but seems like it's taking extra long today. We'll just hide behind this outhouse. In the meantime, my Ken Island does have a very interesting statue up here. Some people might know that as Dragok. Alright, now we can switch to lightning, which I hope is in trait configuration too, which is not, so we'll have to spend another moment waiting. So Sprite Spitfire. You said your problem with the overall Rune Keepers is difficulty leveling after about 20 or so. You said you can't seem to get enough DPS from Dot for survivability. That's actually kind of interesting. I'm guessing you play the red line if you get a lot of your damage in Dots. That is a really neat statue, I have to agree. There's some other things, if we run into downtime like this again, there's some other things I could show off. Now, I also completely forgot how to play Lightning Rune Keeper, so the good news is, in comparing these two, I am a noob with both of those now. With both specs, but the number we have to compare, which I think I lost it, is 12,000 something. 17,000. Wow, I was going to way underestimate that. But yeah, I'm going to try to remember how to play Lightning Rune Keeper. And as far as I know, that is the exact buff I need to use Epic Conclusion. Hopefully it was. It was the exact buff I needed. Hello, Misha. You said your game is still updating and you've been trying to improve. And you mainly play solo. It can still be good to try to improve solo. Wow, my lightning damage immediately, actually. I don't think I had the buff. I actually did have the buff. I didn't even pay attention if I had the buff. I wonder, I know they updated the Lightning Rune Keeper. I wonder if it's actually, that buff stays on you. I know they did something with that buff, closing remarks. I don't know if I'm just having good RNG right now or what is going on with that. So far my damage is actually slightly lower compared to fire, which I think is a good thing. I enjoy fire overall a lot more, especially, I did not mean to use that skill, but especially in like a raid situation, I definitely prefer fire over lightning just in the amount of fun I have on these spec. I messed that up a little bit. There were probably definitely mess ups with the red line too, so I don't feel like I'm giving a bad impression, I guess, of this spec. That bad of an impression compared to what I did on the other one. Yeah, we're getting that buff every time, so for anybody unfamiliar, the buff I'm talking about is closing remarks, which is, it's basically only good to cast Epic Conclusion as far as I know while you have that buff up, because it reduces the cooldown of Epic Conclusion by half and it gives you all those buffs, and I still have that up even. And it's something I used to actually have to actively think about, but it looks like I am getting that buff pretty consistently. And I, again, don't know if it's just good RNG right now or what exactly is going on with that. Also need to use a power potion. So Misha, you play a Lore Master as a main, which is a fun class. That one can definitely be perhaps a little bit slow feeling, a little bit odd feeling. In solo gameplay, I think Epic Conclusion time. I hope y'all are enjoying me just targeting the target dummies here, because I really do feel like it takes a while. Like, it just feels slow. I know it's a 3-minute parse, which is a good time. Definitely want to hit something long enough to get somewhat accurate results for how much damage you do over time. Of course, in like a real raid situation, there are a lot of elements that can impact your damage. First of all, if you have buffs and enemy has debuffs. But what is the damage I did? I did really bad. I did 12,000 something, so I do much more damage in the red line now. I honestly don't know what it was before. I actually think they were somewhat similar before. As far as I know, yellow line did a little bit more than the red line, but I'm actually thinking at level 85. At level 85, they were a little bit closer, but now at level 100, it looks like I do a lot more in fire, which I am glad. Lightning could definitely have its place in solo, but it'll be nice to actually feel like I could do some damage in red line rather than yellow line when I play Rune Keeper in the future. Also, of course, with the red line having that useful debuff with Mystifying Flame, decreasing the, let me say this correctly this time, increasing the incoming damage of enemies. Alright, so we can go ahead and move on. Yeah, the improvements for the Rune Keeper were with fire and the red line rather than lightning. I don't think yellow line lightning was changed all that much, just red line. So what class was also updated? Guardian, that's what I'm actually very excited for. I really doubt they have viable DPS, but it'll be interesting to see their boosted damage because low-level Guardians were quite strong before. So perhaps low-level Guardians can be even stronger now, and mid-level Guardians weren't that bad to me, honestly. For me, Rune Keeper, I find most fun the red line, and then I like both of them, but find the red line most fun overall. Okay. That is the new mission stuff. We can check out the new missions if y'all want, but y'all might have seen in a recent video I was killing some stone trolls. So what I figure is, since I'm still here in Limelight Gorge, one of my favorite areas in LOTRO, which we don't get to see that often on my channel, or perhaps basically at all before, I thought we could kill some stone trolls while here. I don't know the damage of all these skills. That's something I really should have paid attention to for a character like this, the damage of all these skills beforehand. One thing I remember is Brutal Assault, especially the bleed on that, seemed quite weak before. We'll see how that changes. I also forgot how to play the Redline Guardian. I just have to remember one of the things they actually changed was Sting has a shorter cooldown. I actually have to remember to use that a little bit more frequently. I'm actually killing that thing quick. I don't know if I killed it that quick before, but I actually feel like my damage was boosted quite a bit. Maybe I killed it that quick before, but I don't know. Maybe I got too used to targeting training dummies where everything feels quick after that. I remember I used to have to use a heal on these two guys. So perhaps there is an actual difference there, but it's really hard for me to tell just killing a couple elite masters like that. We'll eventually maybe take this character to a mission, but I probably won't go to a training dummy for this one. I feel like Rune Keeper was the main one. I wouldn't mind trying to kill a Nemesis in the red line. We can see how Hammer Down is. Oh, I actually used the wrong skill there. That is okay. Generally, what I do with the Guardian is try to weave in Sting as much as possible, because it actually does a lot of damage. So Joe, I have not done too much Blood of Azog content as far as questing goes, saving that for another day. We got basically set up, started the Blood of Azog storyline, and then went into Azanulbizar and did some of the quests in the main camp there, but didn't go throughout the zone quests, saving that. I want to find a Nemesis. I feel like that would be the best thing. There are elite masters. I know there is one around here somewhere. I believe it's a Huorn, which might not be the best for me, but that's okay. We're here to try tough stuff today. But overall, I am not sure. My initial impressions of it is it could be very good, it could be great, but it's kind of okay, decent right now. The rewards for the new Reputation faction, here's a Nemesis. For the new Reputation faction, the rewards, and for the missions, I don't really care for the rewards at all, and there aren't any exciting cosmetics to me with those as well, so perhaps a little bit disappointed because of that. But we'll see once I get through the questing how the actual content is. Yeah, the Sting shorter cooldown, I'm actually noticing that kind of right away. Seems like I can use one, maybe even just one skill there. I was actually thinking usually could use 2 skills and then use that. But it seems like some skills with really long animations just need one of those. Okay, I should probably use a heal. There's a video I recorded before update 30 where I eventually talk about Limelight Gorge. I'm excited for that video to eventually come out whenever I get around to editing it and get done with a lot of the update 30 exciting stuff with that. But yeah, kind of hard for me to tell on the Guardian. I will do a more in-depth look at the numbers and how those change with the Guardian, but it really is hard to tell on a random character that I haven't played too much lately. While I enjoy the class and enjoy DPSing on the Guardian, it's something I am not quite familiar with this character enough to know how much it has changed based on killing those. But what we can do is go to the new missions, and I'm trying to find a travel skill. Perhaps Vanguard, that's probably my best bet. And then I will go to wherever I can go to get the missions. Find a mission recruiter and go to those new missions, and we can do a couple on the Guardian as well. Oops, thought I was running that whole time. This character, as far as my build goes, while we are running, looks like I have a little bit over 20% crit. I have a little over 180% mastery. My finesse, I think, is a little bit low. It's under 15% actually, that's really low. Most of my armor is crafted level 80 armor, it looks like, from the Guardian and my kin. And then jewelry, some reputation stuff, it looks like, I think from, not from Limelight Gorge specifically, but from that zone, the Great River. I believe the mission recruiter is in the middle of Bree. Middle, as in almost southwest corner of Bree, actually. I don't know what I would consider the middle of Bree. Probably this, like, actually right in the middle. But that is a place I don't go often until they added the mission recruiter there, who used to just be for Gabalaka. You know, otherwise, that's pretty much my gear on this character. I think I have an updated LI level 80, but the problem with this character, I talk about it a lot, and Campaz, I just saw your question. I have not played Mass Effect. Continue that, and now we can go to Akraz Zahar. If anybody has not seen the rewards and would be interested in seeing that, let me know and we can check that vendor again. Perhaps I could check for a character like this. Here's the Dwarven PC, if we can get over those chairs. For a character like this, I would be interested in level 80 maybe. And yeah, this is just immediately I can tell that it's not going to be interesting armor. It already has less vitality than my level 75 stuff, and it doesn't have that much more might, and I don't care about all those defensive stats at all. And it looks like there are gloves as well, which I also don't really want all that much. Then there are pants. I thought I saw something pop up on my screen, but I do not know what that was. But yeah, the armor just doesn't look interesting, and I haven't found any cosmetics that I particularly am interested in. How about Trinkets of the Lost Garrison?
Long live King Thorin. Long live Durin Stonehelm symbol.
This almost looked like Moria. I feel like that loading screen was Moria. Here's the Dimral Dale. This is the current version, the present Lothorian, and this is some of the landscape changes y'all might be able to see. A lot more wide open in this area. Of course, we can't travel there in this mission. We actually got stuck in the wall. Oh no, I don't even know the way back. I'm stuck between invisible walls, I think. We're already breaking things, unfortunately. There we go, found my way back. Okay, so that was a 45-second falling injury. Anyway, what I wanted to do was take a screenshot of this because that's actually a pretty neat view. And now we can charge somebody at this very slow speed. The real test is if I can still one-shot crit somebody with hammer down. That is the fun thing with Guardian. That was pretty quick. Rolling Retaliation, I know that was a skill that was supposed to have its damage boosted quite a bit. Actually, that is weird. It does more damage than Retaliation, but I think the reason, even on a single target, you would not want to use Rolling Retaliation is it's a really long skill, has a long animation, so probably not best to use that in single target situations. I don't even know in AoE situations how worth it would be. Probably with this many targets, my guess is it would be worth it, but I'm not sure. I am killing things really fast, but usually mission mobs die pretty quickly anyway. What do I need to do? It's very concerning that I can target them, but I'm guessing that's for something else. Yeah, Guardians are really fun. The problem with this character, I did not actually get into talking about this, but it is the location of this character, the level she is. While being high level is fun and exciting because you get more abilities, more traits, all that exciting stuff that I really like leveling up for. Usually, around this level range is when I just abandon my characters because I have West Rohan coming up and I know I have to do that for trait points, and then I'll have Central Gondor have to do that for trait points, then I'll have Old Anorian, even Ashes and Stars, and all that stuff for trait points, where I'm just so worried and focused about trait points for characters because I want trait points to get traits, of course. That is where a lot of the exciting stuff comes from traits. For Guardian, for example, I could get Redirect on this character and could get increased AoE damage and all sorts of exciting stuff in the L line. But then I don't really want to quest specifically in West Rohan especially, but even a little bit like Central Gondor. Well, I might do that anyway to level up. Is something I don't like about this level range, and don't like specifically West Rohan questing, of course. Oh, I feel like I'm playing Guardian really poorly right now. Sometimes there are too many options. It's a good thing, it makes the class fun, but sometimes there are so many options I just forget what I actually should be using sometimes. Which often the answer is Sting. That is something I tried with my keybinds. It's kind of hard to set up keybinds on a Guardian, I found. But putting Sting in the 1 slot, because it seems like the 1 slot should be the skill I use the most. See, Vexing Blow still seems kind of weak. But I actually found I used Sting less when I tried to put it in the 1 slot, so this is kind of what I'm going with. I'm pressing, once again, all the wrong buttons there, actually. Okay, let's pull a lot. That is actually an elite in this mission. That is surprising. That is the boss I need to kill. This might be too many enemies for a non-Guardian, maybe. I am a DPS Guardian, so I don't quite have the survivability of a normal tanky Guardian. Just to point out, but I should still have some decent survivability and have some options. I just might actually have ran into something that can challenge my defenses. So I'm trying to talk about it challenging my defenses. I actually have to focus on the gameplay, and actually focusing on the correct enemy would be a good idea. So what I can do here, I don't have a keybind for this skill, is slow him. Also need to remove his corruption. Well, let's see. What options do I have for surviving? I don't have that many right now. Mainly keep him slowed and kite him around. I will have, when I have charge, that is going to be my next option. So 5 seconds from now. This is my thought process when I am running into danger. It's basically run away from things like a chicken. And then this should be enough opportunity to do enough damage to kill him. And that is basically the case right there. That was actually quite exciting. That's one concern I actually do have with the landscape difficulty. If I turn it up for something like this, for a character like this, some of those crazy AoE situations may not really be possible. I also really like that the chest is lootable by non-level cap characters. That was a big miss to me in War of Three Peaks missions, and I'm glad they made that in the Wildwood missions and continued that with Blood of Azog. that you can loot those. That is a neat cosmetic. I have to see where that is from, which, by the way, oh, he's anonymous, unfortunately. We forgot to check Rowan, that one place.
Will be ours once
One more mission. Defilers in the Dale. I think that's like in the exact same area that I already went. Wrath of the Frost Heart. That sounds exciting.
Will be ours once more.
So, Sprite Spitfire, you are similar with level 50 in Angmar. With that, you feel like you're slogging through the levels in the land itself. And yeah, that's what I feel like would be a good description of West Rohan for me. Unfortunately, this mission is in Elderslate, actually right at the gates of Gundabad. Defeat Frost Horde and attempt to breach the Ice Ceiling Mountain Gundabad. Interesting. There is my one shot. I feel like I've gotten all the experience I need now. I wonder if a lot of these skills like Brutal Assault, Sting is just such a strong skill for some reason. Sometimes doesn't make much sense to me, but a skill like Brutal Assault, it seems like its total cast time is actually about the cooldown length of Sting. It'd be very weird to use Sting as every other skill I use on a single enemy like that, but that could be the case that that's what needs to be done now. Not entirely sure. Two quick skills like that, I can use them both. But then one like that probably would be time to use Sting again. Anyway, we can go about defeating more than one enemy at once. That is the specialty of the Guardian, I feel like. Especially if you're playing something like the yellow line on landscape or even the blue line on landscape. To me at least, it would be extremely slow to go single target only in either of those specs. Yeah, that was a really strong crit. That almost could have one-shot these signatures. They probably would have had higher defenses, but add the number to one-shot them at least. One problem with the Guardian, kind of similar that I ran into with the Rune Keeper, is a lot of my dots, I can't quite get through them all, but another thing I've noticed about the Guardian is the dots can actually be relatively weak, especially if you compare, if I actually put combat analysis up this whole time, or I could actually look at this. I don't know what I typed there. And I spelled analysis wrong, which often happens. There we go. Oh, don't want the windows this big. That was a mistake. I don't like screen clutter, so I don't usually have this up. But if I just go about my normal, I think I have these windows backwards, but oh no. That's going to drive me crazy if they aren't at least even. But anyway, if I go about my normal gameplay, that's when I'd be interested to see how much damage Sting actually makes up out of everything I do, especially in a fight like this coming one. Oops, I missed that skill. And I don't want to look at healing. But yeah, basically my point was, I am curious if Sting is actually my most damaging skill, even though it doesn't do the most damage. With how frequently I use it, it might account for the most damage, like just going about regular killing of mobs. Oh, once again I missed. I was just too far away to use this one to the king. Okay, to breach the ice, we can go ahead and look at. Yeah, improved Sting, actually that was on the cold whelpling. For total damage, improved Sting is, as far as that was a very, very small sample, but I have no idea how to pull that one window back up. I do not use this enough to know that, but either way, that's why I don't mess with plugins all too much, at least one reason. They can be quite annoying sometimes. We'll eventually get that unloaded. Did I spell combat analysis wrong again? Do not think so. It just says it can't be unloaded. I did not know that was even a possible issue with plugins. Make that a little tiny window. And move it down here. There we go. Now it is out of my way and not bothering me as much. Okay, so I still need one more chunk of ice to break for this mission. Oh, all these orcs notice me? I do not think they will. But still, I want to kill them anyway. Oh, he parried that. I think I actually had with this skill, Brutal Charge, I think I had a guaranteed crit on that? Maybe. I wonder, you might need... Yeah, for the guaranteed crit you need the full To the Rescue trait chain, which I do not have. But yeah, that is the Redline Guardian. It's fun to me. But again, the problem with me not playing this class as much, this character as much, is the level it is. And that's why I have been interested in making a new Guardian. Because I really enjoy Guardians, but the problem is this current character and where it is.
What do you want?
I don't really want to play her all that much. Even though for the class, I would like to. But we can go ahead and move on from that. I think the next class, I actually don't remember, Beorning maybe? Beorning, that, I'm going to have a video about the Beorning soon. Their DPS spec isn't that fun to me. But their damage has been updated, and that is actually the next class I have right here. And otherwise, I think the Lore Master was the other one where their damage was buffed. Their yellow line was slightly nerfed, but there isn't really much support, even with Burglar, Captain, and Lore Master. I feel like there isn't much support for me to test just running solo missions, so we'll probably stick to the Beorning, then Lore Master, and then get wrapped up with the stream. I also should try to remember to check that one vendor, the Rowan vendor, for the Figments of Splendor. But if there's anything else in this update that anybody is interested in checking out, or me checking out rather, while we're going through this. Well, this character is very conveniently already at a training dummy. We can probably do a mission or two, but I am in the red line right now, and one of the changes right away is actually exposed. So if I get enough wrath to go into bear form, these are the debuffs. That still shows man for some reason. That is supposed to change to the bear version when you switch into bear, I believe. That is weird. I wonder if that's bugged or for this character. Still exposed man. Still exposed man on both of those. I think it decreases incoming melee damage when you use it in bear form. So that will be good to maintain in bear form and in man form. It'll be a pretty decent actually debuff, it looks like, in both cases. And I think it used to only affect your own skills. It was actually a self buff if I remember correctly, the old version of that. So also with the Beorning, their damage was buffed. That is exposed, we already looked at that. One thing I know that was the case before is Biting Edge was one of the strongest abilities that they had, and then Bash and Relentless Maul, or Brutal Maul I guess as it's called in the red line, were also pretty close behind. So I don't know if I took screenshots of this, but for another video for another topic, I was actually playing this character and testing the damage out. I also did it on my other Beorning, but I think this is the main one where I was looking at results. Let's see, I have screenshots of my Warden, which is not this one, so it doesn't look like I actually have screenshots of what I was doing, but that is okay. But we can check out the new damage on the target dummy, I suppose, and the new mechanics with Expose, which did not even apply a debuff. Oh no. Okay, now we got the debuff. So that is exposed man form, and then we will try the bear form version here in a moment. That is still man form. Did not get bear form. That is still applying man form. Exposed does have a bear form version, right? I'm not crazy on that. I don't think I'm crazy on that, at least. That used to be a thing. I don't know if it's a higher level thing. Perhaps I can let the debuff run its course, and then... And then I will try the bear form version with... I used it again. I did not mean to use that. It's so easy for me to just like looking at things, especially with the bear ring, just to press the buttons for them. So what I need to do is let that run its course, and then we will try the bear form version. Okay, let's go ahead and swap to bear form and use expose. It still applied the man form exposed. That is really weird. And I feel like that is a bug right now. I wonder how much damage this war does. How much damage Thrash does. That was another thing, especially if you use a single... Let's see, if you dual wield compared to using a two-handed weapon, Thrash is really weak in bear form. And this character dual wields. I primarily tank on him. I'd prefer to dual wield. And I also like the animations a lot better in main form, and it's a lot better in main form actually to dual wield, but then in bear form it's better to use a two-handed weapon. So that's just another note. Anyway, this is the bear warning. It's really hard to tell just targeting a target dummy about how the classes actually change, so let's go ahead and go somewhere more useful, and we will return to Bree and check out the new missions on this class as well. But thought I would check out how exposed work, and if I had that old screenshot of the damage I did before and could compare it to now, that would be something I could do. But if I remember correctly, that was around the range of what I was getting before, and that was me sort of messing around, of course, this time. Go ahead and move down a little bit. So I assume one of the big things still with the Redline Beorning is that Brutal Maul will be extremely strong, especially when you can use Ferocious Roar to guarantee all crits with that. And that will probably be the landscape combo. Beornings are very good in landscape, and especially at low levels. Their damage, of course, I talk about this a lot, but their damage, of course, does not scale well as you level up, especially with like imbued allies and all the such, and as you get bunches of traits, their traits are not that great overall. So there are a few reasons, I think, for them not scaling well.
Gundabad will be ours once more.
Respite, oh, I think we already did that one. Keepers of the Narrow Way, let's try this one. Trying to do different missions on each character I go on, but then I have to remember the actual names. Defeat Servants of the Iron Crown. That sounds pretty fun. This is at Elderslade, and not this part of the zone, but up here. This is actually different. I don't remember there actually being Ingmarum up in this part of the zone in the Elderslade that we can actually go in the actual Elderslade zone. So perhaps this is new for the mission, but I would kind of doubt it is at the same time. Maybe eventually the Blood of Azog story will take us here and we'll go back here, but I just don't remember Ingmarum in this part of Elderslade. So we are really just defeating 10 enemies. Okay, here is these gates are still here. That is the main thing I remember. So the method with the Beorning is to round up tons of mobs, essentially as many as you can, and preferably they would all be in melee range and all taking damage from this, and I would preferably have actually gotten Ferocious Roar to work there, but you can get all your attacks on Maul to crit if you use Ferocious Roar right before it. Okay, go ahead and use a heal. Alright, I have to use a potion, unfortunately. I have tons of potions. I just always hate to use them. I think they are doing something. I feel like they're reflecting. There's something going on. I don't think it's normal. Let me see. Yeah, they were reflecting fire damage. I was wondering why I was taking so much damage. It probably seems normal that I should take so much damage from signatures, but it always seemed like when I was damaging them, I was taking extra damage. It looks like I have to defeat a Dour Hand Gatekeeper. That was unexpected. Like, of all things to expect from this mission, it was not a Dour Hand for me. That is kind of neat, but it is odd at the same time. So yeah, let's see what this actually does. Reflect 15% of fire damage. Yeah, that makes sense why that killed me, especially when I was attacking so many with that buff, I believe. Okay, so to summon the Dour Hand, there's a horn right here. Would have thought I had to click that banner or something. Here he is. But yeah, once again, like the Guardian, and I guess most unlike the Rune Keeper, I can't really compare this too much before besides just my experience. We don't have anything to actually visualize. Let's see if Expose is still not working. It's still not working. I assume that will be a bug reported. I don't know why that is the case. I don't think you have to drag a separate Expose skill. It's always worked that it just switches. Form of man. I'm in bear form even. But maybe that is a higher level thing. That is possible. It's something I'm just so used to from playing higher level bear warnings and knowing it's a thing in general, that maybe it's something that changes at high levels. Wow, this character has overflowing inventory. Alright, going to go ahead and move on to Lore Master as the last class, and before we get to the missions on the Lore Master, I'm going to try to remind myself to check that vendor Rowan, because I keep actually forgetting about it. To spend my... well, I don't know to spend my Figments of Splendor, but to potentially spend my Figments of Splendor, and this character is already located in Bree. I forget he has the same outfit as my Rune Keeper. I haven't been able to find a good outfit for this Lore Master. That is one issue I guess I have with him, is exactly that I need a new outfit on him. And I was once again hoping with the new stuff that there would be interesting cosmetics for all my characters, but one that I just thought of with this was my Lore Master. I am sinking way too far. Hello, Salmon Fire. I'm sinking way too far into my chair. I need to stretch my legs for a little bit, but now that we're actually back with the character, we can get up and not be way down there. So yeah, for cosmetics for this character, there's just no good option. I feel like I'd almost rather wear this. Turn that off. Actually, I'd rather the shield. Just look as ridiculous as possible. I'd actually think I'd somehow rather this. I don't know. I don't really like this either. Okay, so the vendor, Rowan, I believe would be this one. Rowan Raspberry. And she has a shop, which is probably the Flame of Ancalamir, but then barter items, Figments of Splendor. So we have Sunset Hills. I don't know if this is new. Does it say new? No. There's Bright Company. Probably won't get that dress. That does not go well with this character. That's kind of neat. I'm not the biggest fan of that, though. How about Sunset Hills? That sounds exciting. I don't think I like that helmet. Don't think I like that either too much. Heaven and Blue? No. Wild Hills? Don't like that. Okay, so these are the cloaks. Okay, let's reset all that. There's, yeah, war steeds to match those cosmetics. There's a little pink pig, some housing things, and a little black pig, big blue carpenter bee, and there's a big wasp. Okay, so yeah, unfortunately for these cosmetics, I am not a fan of those. In Misha, I have heard of a cosmetic LOTRO site. If you're talking, I don't know cosmetic LOTRO specifically, that site. I usually don't pay too much attention to those cosmetic sites. The one I know most is Deco du Milieu, which is more of a housing items type site. And hello, Wizco. I am doing great today. So we're getting close to wrapped up with this stream. I will do a couple missions on the Lore Master. Their damage was buffed, but only for a few particular skills. Burning Embers had its damage over time buffed, Gust of Wind had its damage buff, and Cracked Earth. And then I believe Wizard's Fire, and I think that was it. I don't think any of their big damaging skills that already did a ton of damage were buffed at all as far as I know. So I don't have too much, once again, finally, to test on the Lore Master, but it is another class that got updated that we can look at with this. I need to do something. If I play this character, if I go back to doing Lothorian on him, which I eventually intend to do, I really need to get him a different outfit. I have not used a robe on a character in a long time, and I really feel like he needs a robe. And I'm so distracted with his outfit being so ugly that I actually forget what I'm doing. Which should be on my elk rather than my goat, but this is okay. It'll still get me there. Also have to repair something. I guess my Lore Master's brooch and my book, my notebook, and then a bunch of my jewelry. So hopefully we don't die, and hopefully all that armor doesn't break. Okay, so we're going to Erebor. I wonder what happens. I'll test that at the end of this, after we do our mission. So what is an exciting mission? Securing the Red Horn. That sounds exciting. It sounds like it could be in Moria, or it could be like the Red Horn Pass. It looks like it is the Red Horn Pass, so we're securing some encampments. Maybe. It's all foggy up there. I think we have to go this way. Yeah. But what's weird is I spawned facing this way, I thought. I thought I went into the zone facing this way rather than this way. Yeah, the stack of books taking me to Azanulbizar, I was interested in testing that on this server because this server we're supposed to be banned from that region. So I just wanted to basically get a free port to Kellendam is how it would work out. Okay, don't notice much of anything, not that I could really tell all that much of anything from killing a single mob like that, but yeah, Lightning Storm again I don't think was updated. That should still hopefully just about one-shot them. I always consider it a little bit of a fail of a Lightning Storm if it doesn't one-shot mobs. Oh, looks like we get a counterattack. This is kind of like a skirmish. I don't remember this character's keybinds at all. That's something I'm realizing. But hopefully with the Lore Master, I feel like the downtime parts of their damage, kind of unlike the Rune Keeper, is what was really buffed. It seems like the Rune Keeper, their downtime parts of damage, and by downtime I mean outside of the strongest few skills, hopefully that is made a little bit better for the Lore Master in this update, because I know they also suffered from that issue. They have a lot more of a variety of strong skills, and their downtime is a lot longer compared to the Fire Rune Keeper. But with the Fire Rune Keeper, as we saw, most of my damage was still in 2 abilities, and then there was a bunch of tiny damage and the rest of the things. I was hoping the update, as we discussed in the Rune Keeper part, but for people that weren't here, and for me to just repeat it, I felt like that downtime part with the weaker skills, the damage over time stuff, always felt weak compared to the strongest couple skills, and that still is the case. And I was hoping it would be the opposite. I was hoping the damage update they got would kind of boost up the lower damage skills compared to just boosting up. I know Smoldering Wrath did get its damage buffed, and even all the Fire Rune Keeper skills. I don't think lightning strikes damage was buffed either. That's still pretty strong though, it looks like. That metal base is floating. I don't know if it's floating compared to the rocks it's actually put into, but the rocks are floating at least. This is a neat look out. I don't remember the Dimrel Dale looking like this. I know the actual landscape was updated, but there is that new structure. As far as I know, it's new, and that is, as far as I know, also visitable, even in this version, the current version of Dimrel Dale. Another thing to point out, somebody commented on one of my old streams that the mirror, this like, is actually supposed to reflect the stars even during the day. I always thought it was a bug, also because it's like really blurry and low quality reflection. I just always thought it was a bug that they never fixed with this water, and it was just really bad water in the game. There's some water that just doesn't look good, but most areas of water actually look really good in the game, I feel like. And this was one that always stood out as looking like really bad graphics wise and just low quality and not even reflecting the correct thing. But somebody commented that it is actually supposed to reflect the stars like that for presumably some lore reason. I don't remember them actually giving a specific reason. So if anybody knows if that actually is accurate, it would be good to get a second confirmation on that, I suppose. Orc weapons. Is this securing it by picking up orc weapons? Oh, this is an actual quest this character has, I think. Is it? I know I have tons of quests, but I just got progress on something for orc weapons. Which, if so, that's actually kind of awesome. I didn't think you were supposed to be able to do anything like that during missions, but that was kind of nice. And that is the thing with this character. One advantage of doing the LM and L, Lore Master and Lothorian series, mini-series that I've done like 2 whole parts of so far, is with the update to Dimrel Dale, this character is the perfect level to check out any sort of changes in the current version, the present day Dimrel Dale. So Durin saw the stars in the mirror before founding Moria. Okay, so that makes sense. So Helheim, you were wondering for legendary items if leveling like a first age level 60 is better than a 65 third age, and I am not familiar with those two comparisons immediately. But the best way while leveling with legendary items in general is to just replace them when you get new ones that do more damage. For class items, something like a book for a lore master, I'm still using a level 51 one, because these don't matter quite as much unless, for example, on the lore master, if I really wanted to get that technical heal rating up. More significant ones might be the Rune Keeper, if I actually was healing on the Rune Keeper to keep the tactical healing rating up on the secondary one. But for the primary ones, getting the highest DPS possible, no matter if it's a second age, third age, first age, use whichever you can get the most DPS on. And for tactical classes like the lore master I'm on right now, instead of DPS, the number to focus on is the tactical damage rating. So again, I'm not immediately familiar with the 65 third age versus 60 first age, but I'm guessing that you actually do want the third age, because usually level is pretty important on those. Okay, Orcs and Moria are launching a counterattack. This makes me want to really continue this Lore Master and Lothorian. Like, I got excited for the Azanulbizar quest on Luiden, but that was like so long ago. That was about an hour ago. After all this time, I basically forgot about that, and playing the Lore Master and Lothorian, doing a mission right where this character is questing. Sort of. He just got done with the Dimrel Dale actually very recently. As far as his progress goes, it makes me want to go right back to him and just do these. So we have one final encampment. But I still think the focus in the future will be, of course, on the Azanulbizar zone. Okay, let's speed things up a little bit. Well, I think I can even destroy the barricades for just a zone quest, aiding the elves too. Yeah, I have actual zone quests. So Helheim, we have third person talking about the stars in Mirror. So that is good for all the confirmation. I really did always just think it was a bug and bad water and they needed to fix it, but I'm glad to know that is not the case. It is good that we have people to actually educate me on stuff like that. So Helheim, your lore master is actually also level 65 in Lothlorien. And yeah, perhaps, I don't know if I have a staff like that to look at. But the tactical damage rating, while it might be a small number when you don't have it equipped, the best way is to actually go ahead and slot it like all these staffs I have if you have a slot open. And you can see if the maximum that you could rank it up to would be higher than your first stage staff. That is another point, I guess, to make if you are unfamiliar. You might already know this, but ranking up the tactical damage rating is going to be the most important thing to rank up, and it would be for classes like Champion, for example, with their weapon, or Hunter with bow. Ranking up the DPS is what matters for them. I feel like this actually is going slightly slower just because I can get my zone quest done while in the mission. But this is actually pretty neat because I might be able to just do this mission on repeat and get that quest done actually by doing this mission. I don't know if I will still be able to do those or if it'll count like on the landscape part. Didn't need to use that last Wizard's Fire. Do Ring of Fire and then Lightning Storm just in case that didn't kill them, which it actually didn't. That one should kill them, except for that guy way in the back there. One of them is actually targeting me, or I was taking damage from something. Aha, found it. There's a skirmisher hiding right there. Now something, okay, we're going to have to use that ability. This is a problem I run into with the Lore Master when they aren't grouped up, they're spread out and essentially attacking me and not my pet. But it's also a fun part of the class at the same time to me. Okay, so I'm expecting a counter attack, but that is not the case. We are done with the mission, which means that is all I have for the stream. So as far as it goes with all the Update 30 content, just as a reminder, I can't actually zoom out. I'll go somewhere random, maybe. Somewhere random just so I can zoom out, but as a reminder to start the stream, we started the Blood of Azog on Luiden in the Gundabad area, not Gundabad, Elderslade zone, and at Curfew, and did that a little bit with War of Three Peaks, and then it finally took me to Azanulbizar, which I think I have to actually go here to go to Azanulbizar, maybe. Actually, I don't know how to get to Azanulbizar. I feel like it should be the top thing right there. It could say like Dimral Dale, maybe? That would be Rovanian as far as... Oh, Tales of Yore. It's an old... Nud Malek. There's a... Oh, Azanulbizar. There's Nud Malek. This is the raid area. I didn't think there were two Tales of Yore. But Azanulbizar. Yeah, got a lot of the quests at Amdan. So I am very excited to go through. We basically did all the stuff in the camp Amdan and got tons of quests to go throughout the zone, so I'm really excited to get back to that on my Warden on Luiden, which is probably what I will be doing tomorrow. That is the plan for tomorrow. And then just checked out the gameplay on some of the classes that were updated. Couldn't really tell much with the past three, but the first one, the Rune Keeper, we compared Redline to Yellowline, and it looks like Redline is a lot more damage than it used to be, especially compared to Yellowline for my Rune Keeper, at least with his gear build setup. All the stuff he already has that I did not change, so that was nice to see. And yes, Helheim, with the Guardian Belt shield rank being useless, that is, especially for people that don't know that's a thing, that's unfortunately really bad. But as far as I know, all other legacies like that actually do have a use, even if some of them aren't as useful as something like DPS and tactical damage rating or tactical heal rating. The incoming healing one can be, really depending on what you're doing, may not actually be helpful all that much. But anyway, that is what we did today. I had a lot of fun so far with Update 30 content. Overall, the content seems pretty exciting and fun, but the rewards are very lackluster to me. I was hoping the rewards would be better, but I'm honestly not really interested in much of it at all, and there don't seem to be really any cosmetic armor sets with the new stuff. So maybe I'm just missing something. That is my hope, that I'm still missing something. But looking forward again, tomorrow my tentative plan is to continue questing on Louisden and start like Azanulbizar proper and do that playthrough. But as far as this stream goes, that is all I have, and I hope you all have enjoyed it and I've also enjoyed seeing all the exciting stuff in Update 30. And if you did enjoy, please consider liking and subscribing for more, or become a channel member to support the content. And thanks for joining and chatting and watching, everyone.